Hey friends, Dr. Christy here, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about diagnoses. Now, sometimes these types of things can be helpful. On the other hand, sometimes they can actually do more harm than good. Let me explain why. I have patients who often come to me and ask me to run a variety of different tests, and I love to run blood work. I love to get a variety of different perspectives, get as much information as possible so that we can make an educated decision on how to proceed with someone's care. But sometimes people come in and say, I'd like to run a test for SIBO, I want to run a GI test, I want to run a stool sample, I want to run this, I want to check myself for this disorder. And to that, I go back to one of my mentors years ago, had this metaphor. Let's say one morning you woke up and there was a donkey in your bathtub. You go, all right, this creature needs to get out of my bathtub. And you call animal control, and you call this place, and you call this place, and all these different people come out. And nobody actually gets the animal out. They measure it. They draw its blood. They take some hair samples of it. They look at it in the eyes. And after 2 or 3 weeks of this nonsense, meanwhile, it's still in your bathtub, they go, we have your answer. It's Bob. And you go, great. What's Bob doing in my bathtub? Can we get it out? And they go, no, Bob just does this. We now know exactly what it is. And we have a name for him. That's great. This whole time, the donkey's still stuck in your bathtub, wreaking havoc, creating chaos in your bathroom, right? Point of the story, a very silly example on purpose. Point of that story is, oftentimes we give a name to something, and then nobody knows what to do with it. How often have you ever been to a doctor before where they tell you, you have X, Y, or Z diagnoses, you have this disorder, you have this illness, and sometimes they may have an antibiotic, or sometimes they may have something to give you because of that new label. Other times they just say, you have depression, or you have anxiety, or you have SIBO, or you have fibromyalgia, and there's nothing that they can give you that actually provides you a solution to that label. Meanwhile, you go through the rest of your life assuming that label and taking ownership of that label and saying, I now am somebody who has this disease. And your cells begin to vibrate at that frequency. Your body tends to get and understand on an energetic level that this is what I have. And then you identify with it. It becomes much harder down the road to then actually let go of that diagnosis when you've taken ownership of it as yours. So in my opinion, oftentimes diagnoses sometimes bring with it more harm than good. Now, if you're somebody who, as soon as you get that label, you go, okay, this is not mine. This is just something that I have right now, and we can learn to move through this and figure out a way through it through different holistic methods. Sometimes it's supplementation. Sometimes it's just really going deep and within and healing certain things from our past. There's 1,000 ways to heal different issues. Some people like knowing exactly what it is because then they can tackle it and move through it. Other times it can be detrimental to your health. So that's just my perspective for your day. Be careful with diagnoses. Oftentimes, I will literally tell patients, I will get you an MRI if it's going to be therapeutic for you. If seeing what's there is actually going to make you feel better, seeing what's there or not there is actually going to make you feel better, cool, then we'll order it. If, on the other hand, either scenario is going to cause you more anxiety, more stress, there's not a purpose to doing that test to me. Especially if either outcome, it's not necessarily going to change our treatment of you in this point. There's plenty of times that I'll say, let's do a conservative approach for X amount of weeks. And if we don't see any changes in that first, month or give or take or something like that, then we can always do more imaging. Then we can always do more diagnostic workups and blood work and things of that nature. But why do we need to start there? Let's work with the human being in front of us before jumping to all these different labels that may or may not actually help you help that human. Just my soapbox for the day. Hope you have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.